Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Zoom training. Zoom is an online platform that we use for our virtual classroom. Some things that we use Zoom for are to teach our specialized academic instruction classes. We use Zoom to hold our IEP meetings and our staff meetings. You should have or will be receiving your personal Zoom account information from our technology department. When you receive this information, please follow their instructions on how to access your already created Zoom account. The first thing we're going to do is watch a short video that will give us an overview of the Zoom features. In this video, we will learn how to create a Zoom account, start a Zoom meeting, how to invite participants to a meeting, manage our participants, how to share our screen, and how to use the whiteboard, including the annotation tools and how to save the whiteboard. Those are important things when teaching our SAI classes. We will learn how to share a file from our Google Drive, and then we will explore the advanced sharing options, the chat options, and the recording options.
Are you looking for an easy to set up online classroom where you can use features like your webcam, maybe a whiteboard, a chat room, and you can record everything that happens on your computer and you can post it for students to watch later? Well, Zoom might be the tool for you. So in this tutorial here today, I'm just going to go over and show you how simple it is to set up Zoom and to kind of go over those key features that I just mentioned on Teachers Tech here today. So first of all, I'm just at zoom.us. I'll put the link to this site down below. I'm just going to sign up for the free account. You can see it's right here. But before I do that, I just want to show you under the plans and pricing the free account to make sure this will work for you. You can see there's other options. But with the one I'm going to do today, the free one, host up to 100 participants. And this actually works for anytime I've used it for teaching online. This has worked and had everything I needed, and I hadn't had to go up and increase what I need. But take a look at some of the other options there if you do need more. So I'm just going to go ahead and get logged up, sign up. It's free here. Just click on that. I'm going to connect with my Google account. I like how easy it makes it to do that. So I'm just going to click on here. You can see you can sign up with Facebook also, but I'm going to sign up with Google, and I'm going to pick one of my accounts here to join in. I'm going to go and create the account because I have to create the account with Zoom. And that's how easy. I've created my account now right in front of you, and I'm all ready to kind of start showing you some of the features and start to set up hosting a class. Right before I go ahead and host a meeting here, I just wanted to point out, you can see that there's some plugins that you can add with Microsoft Outlook plugin and a Chrome extension that you can add to it. Now, the other thing I just wanted to point out is this works on your phone. You can download the app for Zoom and you can access it that way so people can join in a lot of different methods. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and host a meeting, and you can see I have some choices here with video on, with video off, and screen share only. Now, I'm going to do with video on. If this is my first time putting this on my computer, it's going to download and you're going to have to install, but I have it on this computer, so I'm just going to go ahead and it should open up here. I'm just going to go open Zoom meetings. And like I said, it would be a download if you haven't had this installed prior. And then it has my from my hook to my Gmail account. It grabbed that picture, and I'm going to join with computer audio. You can see where I can run a little test, and I can automatically join audio by computer, but I'll just join with computer audio here. So at this point right now, what I'm going to do is go ahead and start video at the same time, so you'll be able to see me on this one. So there I am. I'm going off my Brio Logitech, and I can enter into full screen. I have the green screen behind me just because that's how usually I have stuff set up. That's why you're seeing it like that. But as I hover down, you get to see some other options that I'm going to go through and show you. We're going to start with inviting people because this isn't much of a class without having other people there. Okay, so before I just get started with inviting people, I just wanted to point out this little arrow here. If you do have multiple cameras, you can switch between the cameras right there, or the same thing with your microphones, and just click either of these to turn them on or off. But let's go ahead and invite some people in, or show you how to invite some people in, and it's quite a simple process. Go ahead and click on the invite here, and what you can do here now, you can go with the default email, Gmail, or Yahoo Mail here. But what I like to do, I just go ahead and copy the URL of this meeting. So if I go copy, what it does there, and then I can go with whatever email, I can write an email, and then it paste this link in, and then when they click on this link, they'll join. But do remember, there is a meeting password, so this will make it a little bit more secure, that to enter the meeting here, that they will be able to have to get in there too. So that's how you would get people in, and when they click on the link and join the meeting, you're going to see them come into here where you can manage them. So I clicked on the manage the participants here, and you have some options right away. If you look around, you can see how I can hover over myself. I could mute it if I wanted to. I have some more options. I can rename, but I can go ahead and click on that. And down here, if I had everybody on here, so as I get more people in this room, I get a list of different people, and I can quickly mute all or unmute, because you might not want everybody, especially when entering the room, talking at once. But do pay attention to this more down here, because with this more, you can see we can mute participants on entry, so their mics are turned off, which is kind of a handy feature to have. But go through and pick the ones that you want to kind of make sure you're managing the room that you want, and especially if it's the first time for students coming into this environment, where you can kind of just make it a better experience for you and for them too. So that's how you invite the students, and how you can quickly manage them when they're there, and even before they get into the online room. So I do love how easy it is to share your screen inside of Zoom. So if I go down here and look at share screen, and I'll show you kind of the advanced options in a moment, but I'm just going to go ahead and click on share screen here. And I have some options. So you can see, I'm just going to move back over to basic. I have all these different windows opened here. If I wanted to share just the monitor of me, here I have my messy desktop over here with a lot of things on it. You can see this is where I'm recording this onto Camtasia, but I can pick whatever window that I want. Even an iPhone, iPad I could share. What I really like is this whiteboard. So I'm going to go ahead and click this whiteboard and share this. And you can see I even have myself still in it, but I can go through and add text. I can draw very quickly. I'll just add some effects here. You can see all these different tools that you can go through, and you can save this too. So I like that interaction that other people are going to be see this whiteboard, especially if you're annotating, explaining the process for so many different ways of teaching. And then when you're done, you can go ahead and hit stop share. If I move down, I'm going to click on share again, but you can, if you had a PowerPoint or Google Slides set up, you can go through and have that and share that screen, and that's what they're going to see. So you would pick what you would have. If it was open, it would be one of these windows. Now we have some advanced tools also. You can share a portion of the screen, so you can select how much you want to share, computer sound only, content from a second camera. And I like this too. So you have files that you know, if you're using Google Drive or OneDrive, you can share those files right out from there to push it out to your students. So definitely this is something to take advantage of, is the easy share here. And when you're teaching, and if you have stuff prepared, you can go through and share those here. I'm just going to close this. I just wanted to point out to you with the different options here of how you can share, with one participant can share at a time. But if you go through and click on the advanced option, you have a few different ways to customize this to make sure you want to allow or disallow sharing from participants, or do you want to be the only one here? So take a look at those options. Okay, so if we just move over here, you can see there's the chat one. I'm going to click on this, and with the chat pretty simple to use. You can just type your messages, hit enter, and it is on to everyone. Now, I'm the only one in this meeting right now. If I invited other people in this case, right here, if I drop down, right now it says everyone, but I'd also have individual names there, so I could actually send send to an individual person, so it doesn't always have to be to everyone. You can see right here too where the files, where I can connect with the files if I have certain ones there. And we have a few more options in here where we can say whether they can chat with no one, host only, everyone publicly. So you have some options really handy with, depending on the grade level you teach. And again, when you get them, when you're getting them used to this, and maybe start them off slowly with a few options, but give them more. But again, depending on your kids better than anybody. So just look at those options right there. But another option I really like is the record option. So all this can be recorded, and then you have those videos files saved as MP4, and you could, what you could do, maybe put them into a Google Drive and give a person a link. Someone missed someone missed it. They can go back and watch it later. So if I hit the record, you can see it's recording. I can pause it. I can start. So maybe at the beginning of your lesson, you just hit the record, and when you're done, you can hit the stop, and you can see over here the recorded file will be converted to an MP4 when the meeting ends on it. So you can go and get that file, and like I said, upload and share it after. Gives the students another chance to rewatch something. Maybe they missed it, and they can go back and rewatch that again. So just a couple more things to show you before I finish up here. We do have some reactions. If you click on it, you can see you can give some applause or a thumbs up, just to give a little bit of feedback. And then lastly, when it's all done, you can go ahead and click End Meeting, and you'll have the option to leave the meeting here. You can see End Meeting for all. So I hope you like this little walkthrough of Zoom. Again, the link is just down below here. It's super easy to use, works well. The video comes through quite well. And I just find even for the users, like I said, on their phones, they can easily download the app, whether it's Android or iOS. They can join the meetings and watch from there too. But let me know what other things you're looking for that could help you out with teaching online, and what other tools, and I can make some more video tutorials for you. Just write that down in the comments down below, and I'll take a look at the comments what you asked me to create. So I hope you like what you saw this week on Teachers Tech. I'll see you next week with more tech tips and tutorials.
I'm Paul Richards, and I'm excited.
Okay, now that we've had a quick overview of Zoom, let's explore it in a little more detail together. So when you open your Zoom room, you will have a top toolbar, and this will be at the top of your screen. And then you also have this bottom toolbar down below. We're just going to talk about the different buttons that were discussed in the video we just watched. So if you look up at the top, you'll see these boxes and the X up here where you can minimize your screen, maximize your screen, and you can even exit the meeting up here. Okay. You can also click here to enter full screen and also to exit the full screen. If you look down here at the bottom toolbar, you'll see your microphone where you can click this on and off to mute and unmute yourself. And you can also click the video here to start and stop your camera during the session. These are the bottom toolbar icons, and we're going to go over those in a little more detail on the next few slides. But if you look over here to the right, this is where you can also end the meeting. And you can, when you click on this, the little box will come up just like he showed you in the video that says End Meeting for All, or you can just exit the meeting yourself. Okay, bottom toolbar. Let's look at the security feature. So again, this is your bottom toolbar when you open your Zoom room. When you click on the security feature here, this box will come up. And there's these different options here, and I just want to discuss them and kind of explain what they are. And you have the availability to click any of these on or off. First, this lock meeting. When you click lock meeting, that means you're not allowing anyone else to join. So if you have people who are not in your meeting yet, you're going to want to leave this unlocked. The next one is enable the waiting room. So when people enter into your Zoom room, they are actually, if this is enabled, they will be put into a waiting room, and you will have to open the waiting room and allow them actually into your meeting. This is a good safe feature just in case somebody joins your meeting who is not supposed to be there. And you can turn that on or off. If you have this clicked off, then the people who join the meeting will automatically just be put into your Zoom room without you having to let them in. Down below here are options that you can give to your participants. You can allow your participants to share their screen, to utilize the chat box, and also to rename themselves. This is something you want to pay attention to if you're teaching a class. You may not want others to be able to share their screen. And sometimes you want the chat on and sometimes you'll want it off, maybe depending on how chatty the students are and if they're using the chat box appropriately. Let's talk about the participants button, which is on your bottom toolbar. You'll see it over here. It has like the two little people there, okay? And this number next to the participants button will tell you how many people are in your meeting, okay? When you click on this participants button, this box will come up and it'll show your participants, okay? You'll see that I was the only one in this meeting when I was preparing this slide deck. So all of the people who are in your meeting, their names will appear here. You'll see that down here, participants have the option to participate in the class. So you might ask a question and ask a participant to click yes or no, and then their answers will, whatever they click will show up right next to their name. I clicked yes, pretending like I was responding to the question, so you'll see the green check. You can do this when you're just taking a poll in the class or for any other reason. You can see that the participants can tell you to please go slower if you're teaching a class and they're having a difficult time understanding, or participants can tell you to go faster. There's also this more button where participants can give you a thumbs up, thumbs down, a thumbs up. They can wave to say hello. This means they're, I think, taking a break, and this means they are, I think, away from the computer. I believe that's on the next slide. If you hover your cursor over the more options, which is down below, you'll see that all of these options are open. You can mute your participants upon entry, and then you can give participants the ability to unmute themselves, rename themselves. There's a chime that you can hear when people enter your room, enable the waiting room, and lock the meeting also. Okay. Also, you can also invite more participants from this area. You can mute everyone or you can unmute everyone. This mute all comes in handy when students are talking over each other in the classroom. Okay, let's talk about the chat box. If you look at the bottom toolbar here, you'll see the chat button. If you click on the chat box, this is what comes open when you click on that, okay? And just like in the video he showed you, you can send a chat to everyone in the meeting, or whoever is in the meeting. When you click this button, individual names will come up, and you can send a private chat to someone in the classroom if you need to, okay? And then also, if you needed to share a file, maybe from your Google Drive, with someone in the chat for them to access it, you can click on this button here. Okay. You can use the chat box to as data collection. You can have students answer questions, and you can send them a private chat. But they can even send you a private chat with their answers. This is really great if you need to know, if you're checking for understanding during a lesson. Okay, let's talk about sharing our screen, which is very important to teach SAI classes, or even when we're having an IEP meeting and we need to share our screen in order to show the IEP team the pages of the IEP. The bottom toolbar here has this share screen button. When you click on that, all of the pages that you have open on your computer will appear here. So if you want whatever document or website that you want to share in your Zoom room, you need to have open on your desktop or in your browser, and then that will show up here, and you would simply click on the page or the website that you wanted to share. For instance, if I'm in an IEP meeting and I'm in SACE, I would have that screen open on my computer. That way it will open up here and I can click on that to share it with the IEP team. Okay. Here's the whiteboard. This will also always appear when you click share screen. Sometimes we use whiteboard in our SAI classes, and this is where you can draw or type in, and also the students can if you're working on maybe a math problem or something and you want them to be able to participate. If you click whiteboard, all of the annotation tools will show up as well. Sometimes we may need to record a meeting, maybe if we're in an important IEP meeting or if you wanted to record an SAI session, okay? And there's the record button down here on your bottom toolbar. You can click the record button and choose to record to your computer. This year we are no longer recording to the cloud. We are being told to just record to our computer, and then the file will be saved onto your computer automatically once the meeting has ended. This is an important thing we need to do in order to remove recording to the cloud option. If you go into your Zoom account, it will look something like this. And we're going to talk about disabling cloud recording so that we can only record to our computer. When you open your Zoom account, on the left-hand side, you'll have all these different options. You'll need to click Settings. And then these three options up here will come up: meeting, recording, or telephone. So you want to click Settings first, and then this middle option for recording. And then all of these options will show up on your screen. You'll see a local recording, which means recording to your computer. You're going to want to click over here, make sure it turns blue so that you are enabling the ability to record to your computer. And then you'll see down here cloud recording, and this means recording to the cloud. And we want to click that off, make sure it turns gray. And then all of these other options you can look at and make sure that they're clicked off, like automatic recording. If you don't need to record a meeting, it doesn't need to be turned on. Okay? So you just want local recording turned on and the cloud recording turned off. Closed captioning. We don't use this very often. This can be used for hard of hearing participants. Closed captioning, the closed captioning button is down here on your bottom toolbar. Okay, once you click this, you can assign a participant in the meeting to type in the closed captioning, which will show up on the screen. Very simple to use. Creating breakout rooms. This is an important feature that we use for our SAI classes. Sometimes you may need to assign different students different individual work, or you may need students to go into separate breakout rooms in order to maybe provide them with an assessment of some kind, okay? On your bottom toolbar here, you can click breakout rooms, okay? And then this box will show up. And it says assign 0 participants into 1 room. You can create however many breakout rooms you need, and then you can click automatically or manually. Automatically would disperse the participants into the rooms. Manually, you would have to move the participants as you needed them moved into the breakout rooms. Once you have it all configured to however many rooms you need, then you just click create rooms, okay? And I also included this short video on how to create breakout rooms. So I'm going to go ahead and start the video now.
Hi, it's Catherine Nicholson here from the virtual training team, and this is a short tutorial giving you a few tips and advice on how to get your breakout rooms set up in Zoom for your virtual workshops. So the first thing you need to do is to make sure that you have the breakout rooms activated on your Zoom account. Easy to do. All you need to do is click on your Zoom app, and the little cog in the top right hand corner opens up your settings. You actually need to go down to this view more settings option here, and you'll get your full set of settings open up in a browser, as you can see here. Let me just bring that back up. So we want to go to in meeting advanced, or you can just scroll down to this. it's worth actually having a play around with some of your settings in Zoom. But breakout room, here it is. You just need to make sure that that is activated. Once you've done that, what you will then find is you get this breakout rooms icon button at the bottom of your screen. And this allows you to manage all of your breakouts. So let's do that right now. So you can actually automatically set set people into different breakout rooms. So if you wanted, for example, to automatically have, say, 4 rooms, then your participants would be split automatically into those rooms. But we're going to do it manually today. So I want 2 breakout rooms. Let's hit manually, create rooms. And here they are, breakout room 1, breakout room 2. If you want to get all fancy, you can actually rename the rooms if you want. So let's have blue room. And let's have the red room. And then we can assign our participants to them, just clicking on the blue assign button here. So let's put Abby in the blue room and let's assign John to the red room. And then all we need to do is hit open all rooms here. But before we do that, I just want to show you an option, because when it comes to closing the rooms, you get a countdown where people are automatically kicked out of their rooms if they don't come back by themselves, and they'll get a countdown. So we've got it set to 60 seconds, but you can change that. So we've got it to 30 seconds, for example, here. I'm going to put it back to 60 because that's what I like. Okay, so closing that down, let's hit open all rooms and just pay attention to Abby and John here in the breakout room panel and just notice what happens next to their names. So that little circle that's in grey, you can see it's turned green, and that means they've gone into their breakout rooms, and you can see in the participant panel they've disappeared from there as well. We can go and join those breakout rooms easily just by clicking join. So I'm going to go and join Abby in the blue breakout room now, and I just automatically get pulled from that room, the main room, into the breakout room here. You can see we're in the blue Zoom meeting room, and I can leave the breakout room by clicking the leave breakout room button in the bottom right. Or another way of doing it is I can leave the breakout room from here, or I can actually jump and join different breakout rooms just by clicking on that breakout room icon. So let's go and join John if we wanted to. I'm going to leave the breakout room actually, but before I close all of the breakout rooms down, I just want to share with you how you can broadcast a message to your participants. So you open up the breakout room panel again, broadcast message. Hey, let's take 2 more minutes. So it's quite good for time checks, further questions to get people thinking, or some encouraging messages as well. So Abby and John would have received that message in their breakout room, but I'm going to close that breakout room now. All of them, you can see we get this 60-second countdown in our case, and participants will see that, and they've got a choice of coming back by themselves, or if they don't, then automatically they'll be removed from that virtual session after the minute's gone. So you can see that Abby's come back into the room. She's there on the right-hand side. John's still in the breakout room. And pretty much that is it. Hi, it's Catherine Nicholson here from the virtual training team.
Okay, I hope everyone has a great idea about how to create and manage their breakout rooms. Okay, so we've went over the toolbars, and I want to watch this short video about how to set up your virtual classroom. Okay? Setting up our virtual classroom can be a little confusing at first, but once we've done it a few times, everyone, you will become pros at this, okay? In this video, you will learn how to manage your participants or your students that are in the classroom. You will learn how to use and save the chat. You will learn how to upload files in order to provide student work. And you will learn how to organize your room for easier teaching and navigation.
Hello, it's Catherine Nicholson here from the virtual training team, and I'm here to share some advice on how to get your Zoom room organised for you and your participants when you're delivering a virtual workshop. We've actually got a slide deck that we share to guide participants on what to do in order to set up their Zoom room, but let me show you how we do it. So the first thing is to guide their eyes to the top right-hand corner of the screen to see if this button here says exit full screen. If it does, let's click it. So we click exit full screen. Now we have it. And now you can see all of your icons at the bottom of the screen. So the first one to click is manage participants. When you click on that, you will see all of your participants are showing there on the top right-hand corner of the screen. And beneath that, at the very bottom, you've got some feedback icons. So you've got a yes and a no, which we use quite a lot. You can clear them using the eraser. And what your participants will see, because they're not host, is also a blue hand that they can click to raise their hand like they would in a virtual session. Next, we have the chat. So let's click on the chat icon, and then you can see that the chat opens up there in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, and you and they can type messages into the chat box. You can actually save the chat as well. Just take a look at this. You can change who participants can interact with also. And if you want to upload a file for your group, then just click on the little file icon here. You can upload something directly from your computer if you've got a handout to share, for example. So that's all nice and organized. The problem or the challenge that we have with Zoom, though, is that when you go to share your slide deck, this remains nice and neat and tidy for your participants, but your space gets a little bit mixed up. Let me show you how. So if I want to share a deck, let's share this PowerPoint deck here. Now what happens is I need to open up my participant panel again and my chat panel, but they come up as floating boxes, as you can see here, which covers your PowerPoint presentation. It's not a problem, let me reiterate, for your participants. They still see everything all beautifully laid out. So we found a way around this. Rather than presenting your PowerPoint presentation in full screen mode as you would automatically, instead, let's just come out of the PowerPoint presentation. Just close these down. If you just, let me just go back to sharing. Here we go. So when you open up your normal PowerPoint here, if you just look in the top right-hand corner of the screen, restore down is what you want to click. And that means you can resize the screen. So when I bring up my participants panel and my chat panel, you can see that I can see everything. And the same goes for your camera as well. If you're showing your video, you can just move the chat panels and resize them. In order to play your presentation though, instead of hitting the typical icon for playing it, you want to go into reader mode. So if I click this here, reading view, then that looks like you're playing your PowerPoint presentation as normal. But it means that you don't have to have it in full screen size. And you can just move your slides forwards like this, nice and straightforward. And there you have it. Now, just a quick piece of advice. When you go into breakout rooms, when you come back, you'll need to just reopen up your participants panel and your chat panel. Once you've done it a few times, it's super quick and automatic. So although it seems like a bit of a frustration to begin with, it does become much easier as you get used to it. So there you have it. Good luck with your Zoom rooms.
Okay, moving on, we want to talk about the whiteboard. The whiteboard is an important and useful teaching tool that we use in Zoom, okay? We're going to watch a short video about how to really use our whiteboard doing a Zoom class, okay? This video will show us how to add and remove the annotation tools to either allow students to use them or not to use them, and it'll also teach us how to name the annotators so we know if we have multiple students in the classroom who is doing what with the annotation tools. Okay. Using the whiteboard allows students to participate in the class, and it's also a good way for us as teachers to check for understanding and even use it for data collection if we need to decide if a student is understanding, if we need to reteach, or if we can also move on from that particular topic, okay? We're gonna go ahead and watch this quick video.
Hi, my name is Seti and welcome back to the channel where we make educational technology easy for you. In today's video, we're going to be looking at annotations and in particular, the whiteboard function within Zoom. So let's dive into it with another flipped classroom tutorial. Now, using the whiteboard within a Zoom meeting is incredibly useful, but there are a couple of things that we need to be aware of and a couple of settings we need to be aware of so everything can run smoothly. Now, let's start by first of all creating a Zoom meeting. Now, I'm going to go ahead and click on New Meeting. Now, as soon as that meeting starts, you'll see here I have my screen and it's connecting and everything is getting ready to run. Now, I'm going to join with computer audio. And then I can start inviting people. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is invite myself on a second device so I can show you some of the features of the whiteboard. Now, in order for me to invite myself, I'll need a couple of things. I'll need the meeting ID, and then I'll also need this meeting's password. So let's go ahead and click on this information right here at the top, and then this gives me the meeting ID and the password. So now I can jump onto the second device, and I'm going to go to join.zoom.us. Once on this page, I'm going to input that meeting ID, click on join, and then I'm asked to input that password. So let's go ahead and put the password in there and join this meeting. And I'm going to join without video. There we go. We're now waiting for the host to start that video. Now I'm going to start the meeting. So down here at the bottom, I'm going to admit this person into my meeting, and we can now start having our Zoom conference call. Now, the first thing I want to do is I want to share a whiteboard and I want to quickly demonstrate something and just draw it out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to the bottom here and I'm going to click on Share Screen. Now, what I'm sharing is the whiteboard. So let's go ahead and click on Whiteboard and let's share this whiteboard. There we go. We now have a shared whiteboard. This is viewable on both devices, and as I annotate or draw on this whiteboard, the other person sees that as well. However, as I haven't changed any settings or I haven't done anything, the other person can also draw onto my whiteboard. And this can be sometimes a bit disruptive during a class. So what you can do as a host is you can change those settings. So let's go ahead and navigate to the top of our window, and we're going to click on the three dots where it says More. Now here we have two functions that are very specific to this whiteboard. We can disable the participants' annotations, but we can also show the names of the annotators. So let's go ahead and tick this on first. And now as they are annotating, you will see that all their names will show up on my screen as they are making their annotations. This is incredibly useful if you are doing a collaborative project and you do want them to annotate and add their own information to your whiteboard. Great for brainstorming. Now, during some sessions, you'll want to disable this. So let's go back to that More button, and now let's disable participants' annotations. As soon as I've clicked on that, the other device will no longer have the option to annotate this whiteboard. As you can see, this person can no longer annotate. And now, even when they go to the top, they do not see the option to request that annotation. Let's say that you've given your instructions and you've left some ideas onto that whiteboard. Well, we can now re-enable access. So now let's go back to the main window and we're going to open up the annotations again. So allow participants to annotate. As soon as I do that, they will see that they now have those options at the top again. So when they go to View Options, they can now select Annotate. As soon as they do that, they can begin their annotations onto my whiteboard once again. Now, this is a great feature for classrooms, and as a host, you have full control over who is annotating and when. Now, at the moment, it is only possible to either give every participant access to the whiteboard or nobody. So you cannot select one student in particular to then annotate and then take that permission away. I hope that this will become available in the future, but at the moment, I think the whiteboard is an incredibly useful tool that you can start using today. If you found this video helpful, make sure to scroll down, let me know in that comment section below. On your way back up, make sure to hit subscribe and that bell notification so you can be notified of future videos. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Hi.
Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about is adding a virtual background to our own camera. So when we're on camera, sometimes, behind us there might be not so good lighting or a messy room or something like that you just don't want the other people to see who are in your Zoom classroom or your Zoom meeting. Okay? So these are instructions on how to actually include a virtual background. So you click the arrow next to your video button. So if you see here, the stop video is on your bottom toolbar. You'll click this arrow and these options will come up. You'll just click choose virtual background. Once you click that, this box will open, and there are already some pre-made virtual backgrounds that you can choose from. You can click none if you don't want a virtual background. These options are already there. You can also download a picture from the internet and save it to your computer, and then upload it to this area by just clicking add here. And then that will also be an option for you to add to your virtual background. So I just wanted to show you a short video to how to do this live, okay?
Hi, I'm Abby from the virtual training team, and I'm here just to give you a very quick look at how to get to the virtual backgrounds menu in Zoom. So if you have a look here, you can see my face. We're in the meeting by ourselves at the moment. And if we wanted to change our background, what you would need to do is go down here to the start or stop video function. Next to that, you'll see there's this little upward chevron. If you click on that, it gives you the options to select a camera. I only have the one camera, so integrated webcam, adjust your video settings, or choose a virtual background. So if you click that, you'll see this window pop up. Now, at the moment, I'm not using a green screen, so I'm not going to actually click on the menus for you because it doesn't pan out overly well when you're not using a green screen or plain sort of color or white background. But what you can do is if you click on any one of these images, you will get that behind you. So you can either use the predisposed ones here, or you can go into add an image and upload one from your computer or Dropbox or OneDrive that you want to use as your virtual background. I highly advise that you have a play around with this. You'll find the ones that work best for you. You'll also see whether it's applicable for you or not, depending on what you've got going on behind you. So have a play and see what happens.
Okay, so earlier in the training, they showed us while we are in a Zoom room, how to actually invite participants to a meeting while we are in the Zoom room. However, for our own purposes, we usually set up a meeting using our Google Calendar that we send out to our participants, including our students who might be joining an SAI class or IEP team members. And in our Google Calendar, we are able to actually include a Zoom link so that when the time comes to either hold the SAI session or hold the IEP meeting, participants would just need to go to their Google Calendar, open up that appointment, and click on that Zoom link in order to join that Zoom classroom, SAI session, or that Zoom IEP meeting, okay? So I also included a short video that shows how to do this live. So in the video, we will learn how to download the Zoom extension to your computer, which you will need to do in order to have access through Google Calendar to your Zoom room. And you will also learn how to schedule a Zoom meeting using your Google Calendar.
The Zoom extension for the Chrome and Firefox browsers allows you to schedule and start your Zoom meetings quickly using your Google Calendar. Use the Zoom extension for browsers to start meetings, schedule, invite others, and edit default meeting settings. To install, visit zoom.us/download. Install the Zoom client for meetings and the Zoom extension for Chrome or Firefox browsers to get started. After installing the extension, locate the Zoom icon next to the browser's address bar and click to log in with your Google account. Now that you're logged in, you can make any Google appointment a Zoom meeting with a single click. Create a new appointment in the Google Calendar. First, give your meeting a title and set the date and time or repeat recurrences. Next, simply click Make it a Zoom meeting to populate your link to join and meeting information. Add your meeting participants and conference rooms, and edit the description as needed. To start the scheduled meeting as the host, simply open the calendar appointment and use the same link to join. Locate the Zoom icon next to your browser's address bar to schedule meetings or start instant meetings with your video on or off upon joining. Click the Zoom icon again to access your meeting settings, set your default webcam and audio settings, as well as other meeting options. To learn more, please visit zoom.us/live training to register for weekly training sessions. Need help? Please visit support.zoom.us for 24/7 assistance.
Okay, something important that we need to talk about is our security settings and our setup for our Zoom account and for our meetings, okay? Something that we want to enable is we always want to enable the waiting room, and that we want to actually disable the password. So if you remember earlier in a video, they talked about having the meeting ID and also the password code for participants to input to join the meeting. We are not requiring a password because we automatically send the Zoom link only to participants that we want to be able to join the meeting. So in order to update your security settings, you will log into your personal Zoom account. Your picture should come up here. Again, on the left-hand side, you'll see these different options. The first thing you want to click is your settings. So earlier we talked about doing the settings for recording. This time we want to click on meeting. We want to update our meeting security settings, okay? If you'll see at the top here, it says waiting room. You want to click over here and make sure that that is enabled. We want the waiting room so that you can actually choose who comes into your Zoom room as people join, okay? Just in case somebody who is not supposed to be in your meeting or in your SAI session comes to that meeting or SAI session, you can choose to let them into the meeting or not let them into the meeting. The next thing you'll see is require a passcode when scheduling a new meeting. This is something that you want to disable. You don't want a passcode required. It's just not necessary for our purposes any longer. Okay, so we have pretty much covered all of the different aspects of Zoom. As you've seen, Zoom is a really amazing tool that we can use for our SAI classes and also our IEP meetings. There's a lot of different things that you can do using Zoom, but I wanted to give you some videos that you can access for further things, or if you forget how to do something in the future, you can always access this deck slide and choose the video that you want to watch, or look through the information that I have input. You can also log into your Zoom account. If you'll see, this is my personal Zoom account. If you click on, I think profile on this side, these options over here show up, okay? And Zoom actually has video tutorials that you can access by just clicking the video tutorials button on the left-hand side. There are many different videos you can access through here. There were a few things that I noticed were a little bit better accessed from YouTube, but I have watched many of these videos. So just so you know, these videos are accessible to you for training purposes, or if you can't remember how to do something. And they're very short videos and they're very helpful. Also, additional resources on YouTube. There's this particular person who I really like watching the videos. They're very helpful. It's called the Teacher Training Videos by Russell Stannard. If you go to his website, teachertrainingvideos.com, this is what it looks like at the top. You can also search him up on on YouTube in order to access his different videos. If you go to his website, you can click this Zoom button here, and all of his videos pertaining to Zoom and how to use it in the virtual classroom come up, and they are short and they are very helpful. That concludes our training today on Zoom, our virtual platform. Please let me know if you have any questions. Have a great day.